and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Are you ready? Get ready, dog. Get ready.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. If you can find your seats, that would be great. We're starting on our typical 1 MC time because we love to let you all interact beforehand. So, right? I think life's too short to have really strict schedules. I don't know if you're with me on that, but I find that's something I don't enjoy, having really strict timelines, but it's more fun to hang out and be with all of you. So we have some great presenters. I'm super excited about it. And in the room, there's also some past presenters with some really cool businesses. And I wanted to say this is how the ecosystem works. That commonality and supporting one another through connections. And so always really grateful for all of you, but this is how we make things happen in our region. So OWDS, Oregon Wildfire Defense System. Oh, I got it. I feel really good about that. Woo! I'm off to a good start. I still think about Eva. Remember Eva when I was up here introducing you when the first 1M season? I was like, Eva, what do you do? What are you called? Yeah, Eva creatures. But anyway, so I'm going to let them take the stage and wow you with what it is they are doing in our region and with Wildfire. So here we go. Jeff, come on up.
Good morning. We are OWDS, Oregon Wildfire Defense Systems. My name is Jeff. I'm the Director of Operations here. This is Travis, the founder of the company. And we are in the business of wildfire risk mitigation. More specifically, we spray a non-toxic, eco-friendly, plant-based fire retardant around the perimeter of people's homes and businesses, and that protects all wildfire season long. Lasts up to 3 to 4 inches of heavy rainfall. We're on the qualified product listing for the feds, so the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the U.S. Department of Forestry, they approve, we're on the QPL listing for them, and so, yeah, Travis?
Yeah, that's a really good way to kind of introduce what we're doing. This company that we're working with started in the tech space in the Silicon Valley. They needed a solution for clean rooms, places that they manufacture microchips and motherboards and things of that nature. And they needed something where if people were isolated in an area, if they had to suppress a fire, it wasn't going to create, aftermath or ill effects on their bodies. And so they came up with a fire extinguishing chemistry that's all plant-based and non-toxic, and moved into the sector that we're in just recently. So we are on the forefront of being able to take this product and utilize it in residential and commercial property applications. So we've got a keynote presentation. Normally it's a 30-minute or so presentation, so we can kind of just jam through this. I think we got 5 minutes. So Jeff, you can just take the slides and figure out which ones you like.
2025 has started slower in terms of acres burned, but 2024 is the most destructive wildfire season in Oregon's history. Nearly 2 million acres burned in Oregon in 2024, which is approximately $350 million in expenses and over 30,000 homes under evacuation. So pretty scary. And, traditional firefighting is just not enough. The average wildfire season is now 78 days longer than it was in the 1970s. We're bringing something new to the table, brand new technology that can help the firefighters in their job and make sure that they're taken care of so they can do the real hard work.
Yeah, and that right there is a bold statement. It's not meant to displace any of the fire professionals or push them out and say, well, what we're doing is better. It's really just creating a mindset around being preventative instead of just this reactive emergency response that we're all as a society kind of adjusted to. Oh, if there's a fire, we're going to call the fire department. They're going to show up. They're going to save the day. It's like, well, that doesn't always happen. in January, I was down in Los Angeles for the Palisades and the Eaton fires, and that was a big wake-up call for me to see Malibu scorched. It was like, whoa, like we really need to shift our thinking into this preventative way where people like us, ourselves, are now prepared for these sorts of disasters. And when the fire department shows up at our house and they have a readout that says, oh, this whole property is covered in fire retardant already, you know, like what they would drop out of an airplane, that's a huge step toward really combating the issue that we're facing.
So being proactive instead of reactive is the takeaway from here, getting ready and being prepared rather than having to scramble at the last minute when the fire does come. Protecting your home and structures 24/7, like I said, non-toxic, eco-friendly, and plant-based. It's safe for your people, pets, plants, and wildlife, so safe all around. Like I said, QPL certified. The only other product that's QPL certified is FOSCheck, which is the pink stuff they drop out of airplanes. And so we're on that as well. So the company we work with, Komodo, is on that product listing. It's an intumescent suppressant, which means, Travis?
Yeah, an intumescent, a true intumescent product is something that expands rapidly when it's interacts with heat. And so this chemistry is not a great word for it, but we're going to just refer to it as that. This mixture, when it reacts with heat, it expands to over 100 times its size, like instantly. And so it's really, we freak out fire departments all over the place. When we show them how it works, they're like, what the hell was that? Pardon my French. Because it's, when you see it for the first time, when you see it work, it's just like, whoa. And that kind of registers right away. It's like, that's what everybody needs. And so that intumescent, it's microsuppressants that right away, they just, boom, they attack. They take out 2.5 legs of the fire triangle instantly.
Absolutely. Our partnership with Komodo unlocks their entire product offering from the proprietary K500 fire retardant. An entire line of fire defense has been born. The Komodo 911 fire extinguisher is carried by military personnel and law enforcement. Komodo has developed highly innovative aerial deployment of their product, and they even have a fireproof paint that just hit the market. Our focus as a company is to engage in the market as a licensed vendor applicator. We have custom-built skid engines in our trucks that allow us to spool a 500-foot line that provides 500 PSI at the pump, which enables us to apply the best fire retardant ever created as a perimeter on private properties. This application enhances all of the aspects in creating a defensible space on the property. When the fire retardant is met with an ember attack or creeping flame, it launches a full frontal attack in the form of intumescent microsuppressants, extinguishing the flame immediately. We can apply our product to any organic material that has the ability to catch on fire: fences, vegetation, areas around utilities, and the entire home in an extreme situation where it is needed. Our process is simple and fast. We can apply hundreds of gallons of Komodo in a matter of minutes. We provide a service that no one else in Oregon is able to provide. Our fire retardant is long-lasting, which means a seasonal application is all that is needed in most cases. This revolutionary approach to fire prevention has the potential to completely alter the way we view readiness and preparation. Imagine having this border of protection that stretches from your driveway to the foot of your door. We provide peace of mind that your home will survive the fire, a safe evacuation zone for when it's time to leave the area, and a strong defensible space for our fire professionals to effectively manage the threat.
Yeah, these slides are just some pictures from the Komodo factory. So these engines, these skid engines, are what's in the back of our trucks. And, you know, they're just all in one, ready to go. We're extremely mobile. You know, we've got retired grayback trucks, and these are in the back of the trucks. And you can see this is the Komodo factory down in Morgan Hill, California. It's all made in the USA, by the way. It's made in Morgan Hill and from agricultural byproduct that's, in essence, recycled. So you want to hit the next slide, Jeff?
Sure.
You can see, I mean, the factory, we have hundreds of thousands of gallons at the ready. And the skid engine in the back of the truck, it just comes out of a nozzle. This is actually, this might be, no, this is not your house. This picture of me, if everyone wants to look at this, I look pretty heroic. So it's really simple. You know, one of the beautiful things about what we're doing is just the simplicity of it. And it's funny when we meet with clients, they're kind of like, really, this is all you're going to do? You're just going to spray this stuff? It's like, yeah, that's all we do. And then whatever we spray, you can't light on fire with a blowtorch. I mean, it's amazing. I think we have a demo video. Oh, can you go back to that slide?
Sure. Let's see.
That slide is talking about, I'll just mention it real quick and then we'll go to that demo video. You know, what we're doing is very important for the individual and their property when they have all their estate, everything they've built over their whole life, they want to keep it safe. But really what makes a difference is when communities get their heads wrapped around it, you know, HOAs, neighborhoods where people can band together and have us come through. We can cover a lot of ground really quickly. And once you do that and you create a massive barrier around multiple properties, that's really where you're starting to have this exponential increase in safety. And then here's a demo. You can see this side here is treated with the product that we use, and you can sit with the blowtorch and get this charring. But really what it's doing is we're preventing any vegetation and organic materials from holding a flame and continuing to go. And so if we barely touch the untreated side, obviously it just burns right up. That product that's in that cake called Aspen Excelsior, and it's the premier vegetation that people use to test these kinds of products. It just lights instantly. So when it meets the treated side, it has nothing else to utilize in the fire triangle. It stops it. Like Jeff mentioned, there's no one else in Oregon that's doing this. I learned about this. I've been a fire retardant nerd for years now, and I was working with another company in Southern California, and once I made the relationship with Komodo, it's a no-brainer. Komodo's the best on the planet, and like Jeff said, we're the only ones that have gotten on board with this, and you know, we're more than willing to help other people also start their own business in this line of work, if anybody's interested in that. We are authorized to sell all of the equipment that we have. You know, I actually myself have a working relationship with Komodo. So if anybody's interested in starting their own OWDS or branching off from us, you know, let us know. I think, are we out of our 6 minutes? Okay. All right, thanks guys.
Thank you.
Yes.
So this specifically interests me because I work as a real estate broker here in the Valley, and one of the biggest concerns that I get from buyers who are looking to purchase homes, especially in more rural areas, is fire insurance, and especially with the changing of the maps in the past year. Given all of these certifications you guys have, and obviously, you know, the brand recognition, is there any kind of partnership or coordination with insurance companies to be able to maybe add this sort of a product to a policy which will help, you know, solidify those fire insurance?
Yeah, absolutely. We're working on that right now. Insurance companies are typically slow to the game when it comes to things like this, but we're in talks and in the process of getting that taken care of so everybody can have a fighting chance with their insurance. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the first question out of everybody's mouth. And I just had a really good conversation yesterday with Komodo, and there's some serious traction. Lloyd's of London is already starting to work with Komodo and create a package where if you take care of a certain criteria, like have an inspection done, vegetation removed, and then sprayed specifically with Komodo fire retardant, that you're insurable. So that's huge for what we do. I believe I've said this And I truly believe by next year it will be a category for insurance adjusters. Yeah.
Also just saying closing gift. I mean, like as an agent, like how cool is instead of, really cool products or whatever, be like, hey, I'm not gonna pay for this, but I'm gonna give you this if you close. I mean, that's huge too. What's the cost? I was getting there, but yes.
You don't have the mic.
What's the cost?
Great question. Yeah, the cost varies, until we get on site and we see what's going on with the property. It typically lands like right around $1 a square foot. Okay, and that's of treated area, right? So the good thing about this is it's really precise. We put it exactly where we want it to go and we don't waste it. So 50 gallons will cover 100 square feet. The product, no, I'm sorry. No. 1 gallon will cover 100 square feet. I was really sick last week. I'm just now like in public for the first time.
And what plants are you using to extract these chemistry things out of it?
It's the secret ingredients are like the Krabby Patty. It's very secret. I've done some prying, and there's sweet potatoes, there's oats. Those are 2 ingredients I know that are in there. Starches and sugars from other ag byproduct. It's food grade, but very few people have the secret recipe.
Thanks.
Yeah.
What is the shelf life? Is this an annual application, or, if it rains a lot, do you got to come back after?
Great question. The shelf life, not batched, like for us, it'll sit on a shelf. I think our jugs that are on the truck right now, they expire in 2028. We'll go through them way faster than that. Once we batch the product and mix it with water and get ready to spray it, it needs to go on within the year. Once it's on your property, it will withstand 3 to 4 inches of heavy, sustained rainfall. So in areas that are exposed to rain, it's going to wash away and biodegrade. That's the nature of it. It's long-lasting, but we don't want to put some sort of, plastic product out there that's going to last for thousands of years. So, Lisa.
So can you tell us a little bit about how you can help with construction and where you can spray to help prevent fire in buildings specifically?
Absolutely, that's a great question. We just did a project. I don't know if anybody's on our Facebook or our Instagram. We treated this beautiful old barn. We sprayed this entire barn with Komodo, and I know that we are kind of the only ones that are experimenting like that. So the beauty of that barn, spraying that barn, everything's under eaves, and so the product's going to just stay on it. That thing's never going to experience 4 inches of sustained rainfall directly hitting it, maybe on one wall, right? So with your question with construction, we can spray the entire frame of any exposed framing before the sheetrock or the siding goes up, or even the siding. We can spray all of that framing, lock it in the wall with the finishing products, and then it's there for the foreseeable future. We don't have enough time yet as developers of the product to test how long that is. I've heard from the other companies that I've worked with that are similar to this, that's kind of where you get that like lifetime protection. So it's not verified. We haven't had enough time, but if you go in and you spray the framing of your house and then cover it with sheetrock, that's pretty solid fire protection.
So a couple questions. First is, as far as timing of application, do you have to hit it at a specific time of the year prior to fire season, during fire season, during the winter? Like, how does that look?
Anytime. You can spray it on any time as long as it's not pouring around rain. Beginning of fire season, middle of fire season, even towards the end of fire season, if you want to get protected until the rain comes, it'll stay on there and stick.
Great, so thank you. And I'm also very interested in what like the path to ownership could look like, you know, right? So I don't know if y'all have figured out that part of it yet, but you had mentioned, you know, being unauthorized effectively wholesaler and getting somebody else to work with you. I think that's a great idea because, you know, you need an army of folks to actually have a really good impact. What does that path look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, you know, one thing that, you know, we personally believe it's like this is not a space where competition is relevant, right? This is a huge issue that we're working hard to solve. And the more people that are doing it, the better off we are. And so as far as getting into what we're doing, you gotta show up with a pretty big check. That's what we had to do. I mean, to that equipment, that machine is like 30 grand. That machine is the one that's tested and ready to use this product. And you know, so that's basically the barrier to entry is being able to, you know, go to Komodo with the check. So other than that, you know, it's pretty easy to set up.
Go ahead, Valerie.
So hempcrete operates on taking out the oxygen, which is why that's fireproof. Is this similar? Because the burn test looks similar to how that is, where it's removing the oxygen so it can't spread. Is that how that works?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly how it works.
Okay, I'm going to piggyback off Joel really quick and ask a question. So, you know, you were saying, like, you can put it down any time, but obviously, if I'm doing it in November and it's probably going to rain 3 or 4 inches and there's probably not going to be fires, that's probably not going to be a great time for me to pay for it because I'll have to do it again in the spring, correct? So I guess my question is I mean, I feel like it's feast or famine for you guys. Like, are you guys so busy from like April to August with everything and then you kind of downtime in the winter? Is that kind of how that looks for you guys?
We have an exciting wintertime experiment that we're going to do this year. Jeff here coined the term the fire-free Christmas tree. So we're gonna spray Christmas trees. You know, whether we link with the people in the tree lots or just do it on the side of the road as a community, you know, effort, or, you know, it's just we'll stay busy.
That's brilliant for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, and then there's also, I should have brought one in, but these fire extinguishers that Komodo makes, they're amazing. Little tactical fire extinguishers, we sell those. Good stocking stuffer if anyone needs one.
And actually, the product that we use to spray people's homes is the exact same product that's in the fire extinguisher. It's also a suppressant, so it's a one and done.
Yeah.
You mentioned the machine in the back of the truck, but I wanted to ask, are there other delivery methods that you have for more remote locations? Is the viscosity of this product something that can be put into a backpack sprayer? Do you really need a specific machine? Is there anything in the works for that?
It's a great question. There actually is a whole line of backpack sprayer and kind of DIY kits. And there's a lot of experimentation. There's Type 3 engines that deploy this stuff. My favorite, most exciting thing that's come out, a friend of mine, Steve Wolf, created a machine called the Hurricane, and it's a jet propulsion system. I know this is a little delineated from your question, but it's a jet propulsion system that can cover 10 acres in 1 minute. So when you load that thing up with thousands of gallons of Komodo, you know, it's kind of gnarly. Like, we have, you know, a high school dropout from Merlin, Oregon with a flower on my neck. It's like we stumbled across this thing that's like really like groundbreaking, and it's the future, because the Hurricane it's a bold statement. The Hurricane could go through and save Phoenix and Talent or Maui. You know, that's the type of machine where you're just driving down the street, launching this stuff, and you're putting fires out. It's 300 times more effective than water. So, and then it just washes off with a garden hose. Zero threat to humans, pets. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. The only issue is that nobody knows about it, right? So Komodo has been in these, Silicon Valley rooms, talking with the government, talking with these people, experimenting. And until now, until us and then a few other people brought it to the world, it's unheard of.
I guess I would ask the question, why? I feel like they have this product, and we've watched this over the last 10 years just explode.
Yeah.
As far as, no pun intended, but pun intended, I guess, as far as the wildfires go. Like, why keep it so under wraps?
FOSCHEC, not again. If FOSCHEC, if you're listening, I'm not saying anything bad. I should just stop. There's a giant company that's already doing this, and everybody recognizes it, and it's the one, right? So the fire industry is weird. The fire industry maybe is slow to adjust to new things. You see guys out on hand lines creating these fire breaks. That's 20 people that are on payroll that are part of this giant conglomerate, when we could go in and do that same amount of work that they do in a few days in 30 minutes. It starts to make things a little weird. So
my question is, say you do that, you use this stuff, you spray it on something, and then you wash it off or whatever. When it washes off and goes into the ground, does it fertilize the ground? What happens when it gets into the ground?
Huh? Yeah, when it gets into the ground, there's less heavy metals in the product that is measurable than in most of the foods we eat. There's aquatic testing that's been done. The good thing about where this product is from in the Silicon Valley, they're testing ecological effects. It's kind of gnarlier than anywhere in the country. They're very, very stringent when it comes to the testing, and they've done aquatics testing with baby trout, where they have the trout in a tank and they add the product basically until they kill the trout. That's the test. They had the trout swimming in 100% concentrate, and they were fine. Yeah, so once it goes into the ground, it's a non-issue. Yeah, anywhere it goes, it doesn't burn.
But your flowers are sure pretty.
Yeah, I've areas that I've sprayed, like my parents' property. I treated my parents' property. I go back there and I look at it all the time and just check on things and see how everything's looking. Nothing's wilted, nothing's weird, burned. They've got all sorts of. I sprayed this beautiful Japanese maple. It's all good. So I'm covered in this stuff all day. So I made when I spoke with this company, I made dang sure, hey guys, I don't need to, get cancer from this stuff. Give it to me straight. And the CEO, Sean Sabari, he was very adamant. He's like, if anything even poses a little bit of an issue, it's not even allowed in the building. So it really, truly is, or saying it's organic, that's something that they're working on. Or you guys know, organic labeling takes a lot of extra little things there. So does anyone have any, Austin?
Yeah. So, I'm a director down at the Soil Water Conservation District, and, touching on, it going in and not having the heavy metals, something that I think you didn't touch on is the fact that that FOSCHEC does actually have a lot of the things that we don't really want in our groundwater, in our rivers. And even if you're not into conservation in general, a lot of us, I would imagine, get our water from our well, and we don't want that kind of stuff in our well water. There's wells all over the world that are getting, tested for bad things, and most of the things that they're being tested for are PFAs that are coming off from being used as flame retardant, as, flame extinguishing materials. And so what I think you guys really need is people starting to push this with officials. Down at the district, we're spending a lot of money. We have some grants coming in for fuels reduction. And it's one of the main points is preventative measures in order to make sure that we're, our community is staying safe. And it's one thing getting something involved with the insurance companies to where we're able to lower our insurance premiums. And I think that's awesome and could totally mitigate some of the costs that you guys have, accrued with someone actually using it. But it's also just such an amazing thing for for the community as a whole when it comes to maybe the determination of whether or not we get dropped 100% from being able to get fire insurance. So, just having that and the more that we can use that in our community, the more that we can utilize your guys' stuff, I feel like we could help lower those overall ratings that the insurance companies use to, decide whether they're going to give us insurance or not completely. And that's what I think is one of the biggest problems with, what happened down in California is people lose their insurance and then the fire comes. And so, some of the ideas that we had down there was just doing some corridors, some escape corridors, some simple places. Right. We don't have to do everything, just some strategic aspects where it makes sense. And I think really that comes with everybody here. We should be talking with the people that work with, the fire departments, departments themselves, any officials that you can talk with. I mean, this is something that concerns all of us, and the more fire safe our community is, the better off we're going to be, period. So I just, whether it's the ecology and the conservation side of things and the non-pollution side of things, or just trying to maintain our community and the awesomeness that it is, and it just, you guys are going to kill it. You guys are going to kill it. And I think there's a lot of aspects that, again, we can all help with, just putting a lot of word of mouth out there to the officials that are making the decisions. Come down to the Soil Water Conservation District meeting Thursday. We have one, 5 o'clock. If you want to, we like information.
Hi. So one of my questions is, how far are you guys willing to travel? And also, what does getting a quote for a property spray look like?
We go down to Southern California. We just did a job up in Portland. We'll go anywhere. We're hungry. I'm working really hard. We're working really hard to get the word out there, and traveling is enjoyable. So we'll go anywhere. And as far as getting a quote, a lot of it we can do remotely. We use Google Earth, and we're able to actually lay out plot lines and figure out the perimeter and how much area actually needs to be covered by looking at the satellite imagery. And 9 times out of 10, we go with that original quote. It's accurate. It works good. Sometimes we get to the property and it's like, oh wow, those are much bigger trees than they looked like they were, So, but we can do a good job at looking at it online and then quoting the customer.
And is there, if you have to travel, say, 5 hours, is there like a minimum job amount that you're willing to travel that distance for?
We roll it into an application fee, so it really depends on, exactly what we're doing. And so, we're able to give discounts that way too, as a new customer bonus, anything like that. But also, if we have to roll in extra fuel or extra time to get pretty far, then we can roll that into an application fee.
Swell, thank you.
Yeah, and we're, this company is young. This is the first year out for us, and so, like I said, if we'll go wherever we need to go, everything that we do, we get content out of it, right? We can film the job and learn more and spread the word. So, yeah. Yes, sir.
I appreciate the question, and I'm sure, like everybody had on how you're integrating with insurance. But, maybe to that same effect, I'm wondering about building codes, and I'll be a little bit more specific. I opened a distillery at one point in time, and when we were building that out, the fire rating, and I can't remember what scale they use, there's like a 3-letter, is this fire rated? You have to have a certain kind of sheetrock, or you have to have a certain thickness of block or brick, and it was very cost prohibitive. And I know mills, grain mills, other industries have to have very specific materials when they're building out. Are you guys integrating with community development or coding to be certified there?
We have not yet. That's kind of like a whole business within a business. I'm working with a contractor in Ashland right now, and we're going to see about really moving into that sector. It's just going to take more development on our end that's a very important. The last thing we want to go out and do is spray something and they're like, oh, well, you ruined the whole thing, So that's on the way.
Or maybe the opposite side where you can use lesser of a sheetrock but coat it with this, and so your cost to build might be down because you're utilizing this, but your fire rating stays up.
Totally.
I mean, things like that. Have you guys thought about a subscription type plan? Because obviously I'm going to need to do this yearly. So have you guys thought about maybe my first application is cheaper, or I've agreed to a 5-year application, like something like that, as far as that goes?
Yeah, that's something we've flirted with the idea of doing. Komodo themselves are actually working on rolling out a program like that, to where if you want to enroll with Komodo to have, just-in-time treatment done if there's a fire on the horizon or watch duty pings and you got something half a mile away from you, having a subscription where they're able to send out us or somebody else in the area that's a licensed applicator with them to go be there within 10 hours or whatever level you pay for. So it's a great idea, and I'm softly developing that subscription model for sure.
You mentioned that it's a plant-based byproduct, so could you spray in a place that processes food, like say with all the exposed beam, if they were processing some sort of food product here, could you spray in an environment like that to protect a kitchen?
Yes. Yep. That's what it was developed for, is to keep people safe in trapped rooms. Okay.
So a couple things. One, if you know a car enthusiast, this is a good referral for them, because car enthusiasts are always trying to protect their vehicles. So if you know someone that has like a 1967 Mustang or something and they want to protect it, then let's do that. The other thing is, how can this community help you? What exposure are you looking for? Speaking events, etc.
Thank you, Lisa. That's an awesome question. Well, grants, like we've been talking about getting some sort of a grant. If we're able to stockpile this product and order more, we can cut our costs in half to the end user, to the customers. And so, that takes a lot of money to be able to get that set up. As far as exposure, it's just kind of maybe everyone in the room, if you could just start wrapping your head around the idea of getting into that fire preventative mindset, and then the narrative, once that narrative continues on, that's where we're really going to start making a difference. And Facebook also is a really good way to interact with us, if you can push it out on Facebook. But yeah, just the way of thinking that's the biggest hurdle for us, is getting over that hump, because people are spending $2,500, $3,000 for an invisible product. This is something that's out on their vegetation that they can't see, and it's it's a little.
Last one.
Yeah.
So Rotary clubs, speaking engagements.
Yeah.
We need to get the word out. So if you have an opportunity for them to speak somewhere, that would be a good referral for them.
Yeah, that would be very helpful. Thank you.
Well, thank you so very much for coming out today. Like, this is amazing.
Let's have a big hand for these boys. Travis and Jeff, thank you so much.
Hey guys, thank you.
Appreciate it. And what an amazing product. What an amazing company. And I also have to say that, you're great too. I really appreciate how you've approached the whole thing, and you're not trying to be overly protective, but at the same time, I don't know why I would want to work with anybody else, So just appreciate what you're doing and how you're doing it. And I will say, there was, years ago, there was a fire up on Beacon Hill here. Some of you probably remember that. I remember watching it and going, wow, that's crazy. It's close to town. I haven't seen one close to town for a long time. That's pretty wild. But just watching it and not feeling worried. Then a month ago, there was a fire just right across the river, further away from my house than this one, and I remember watching it, we're all watching, is this going to burn our houses down? Because our experience has changed, right? And we have watched entire towns burn down. And so a product like this is completely game-changing, and I'm I would love to, in any way I can, help get the word out. And also the grant thing that makes it more accessible, that is a big deal. And just, I can't imagine why, that product you talked about, the machine that that can cover 10 acres in a minute. I mean, you wouldn't have to cut fire lines anymore. It's just revolutionary if we can and I have no idea why we wouldn't invest hundreds of millions of dollars into making this accessible and readily deployable in the region. It doesn't make any sense why we wouldn't do that. So I hope all the best for y'all. So big hand again. And give a big hand to yourselves because, again, like every week, you ask such good questions and give great feedback. And it's so valuable to have yes, go ahead. Yeah, just go ahead. Yeah. So valuable to have all of you in the room and to have all of your perspectives and, feedback and, the ideas. And I think that what I heard a couple of times, Travis, right? What I heard Travis say a couple of times is that, they're slammed trying to build this business and get it out there and service their customer base. And it sounded like there's at least 1, 2, maybe 3 businesses inside of the business that could happen. And so, again, just by the nature of how Travis seems to operate, if taking on that sort of construction piece is something you're interested in, you might just go talk to them about working with them and helping, because again, it all takes effort. And if that's an area of specialty that you have because you work in code or you work in construction and that's an area of expertise that you have, that might be an opportunity for you to work together and to do something, in that way. So again, thank you all for being here. Every week, 9:30 to 10:30. Yes. QR code is coming right up. We'll put the QR code right away, all right? So yes, please scan the QR code. That'll show up on this TV as soon as I leave the stage to make sure that we all get you checked in and you get credit for it and we get credit for it. So thank you very much for the reminder. And we'll see you next week. Enjoy. There's some coffee left. Enjoy your time.